This video is a dramatized horror story inspired by true events. Viewer discretion is advised. I thought it was just another fare, a quiet boy, a red bag, and miles of rain. But that drive changed everything. No one ever saw me again. Rain washed over the streets of Leeds. Outside the train station, taxis lined the curb when Mark noticed someone standing at the edge of the road and a small red shoulder bag strapped across his back. Mark slowed the car and pulled over. The boy leaned in through the window. Berwick upon Tweed, 2 days, I'll pay double. Mark nodded and unlocked the door. The boy got in, and the ride began. Mark glanced at him, then back at the road. His coat was dry, even though he'd just stepped in from the rain. Mark thought about asking, but didn't. He shifted into gear, and the city slowly disappeared behind them. Did you notice that? It's pouring outside, but his clothes were completely dry. You saw it too, right? If you think you know what that means, tell me in the comments. I'll be reading. 3 hours in, and it was still raining. Mark glanced at the fuel gauge, still full. It didn't make sense. The GPS was frozen. No turns, no updates. Just that same blue line, like it wasn't going anywhere. He didn't say a word, but the silence in the car felt heavier now. You got a name? The boy said. Does it matter? The rain continued. Mark noticed. No other cars had passed them, not for miles. The light had faded. Mark flicked on the headlights. I'm tired, the boy said. Mind if I move to the back? Mark pulled over without a word. He pulled the car back onto the wet road. Mark had the strange feeling he was being watched from behind. Fuel tank, still full. GPS, frozen. No signal, no signs, no cars, but something felt wrong. And then a shape darted across the light. Too fast, gone before he could blink. He gripped the wheel tighter. Something was wrong with this road. Mark glanced into the rearview mirror. The face staring back wasn't human, staring straight at him. Mark slammed the brakes, spun around. The boy was asleep again, head resting calmly on the seat, like nothing ever happened. But Mark's hands were shaking, because what he saw in that mirror wasn't the boy he picked up. Mark's hands were trembling now. He looked forward again. Right there, in the middle of the road, stood the same boy. He hit the horn, but the boy didn't move and slammed the brakes. The car struck him hard. And then silence. Mark jumped out of the taxi in a panic. There was no one on the road, no body, no blood. Mark's heart pounded. He turned back, ran to the back door, swung it open. The boy was gone, completely gone. Mark jumped back and tried to start the engine. Nothing, just rain. He popped the hood and stepped back out. Steam hissed from the engine. He bent over to look, and then he felt it. Mark froze. He slowly turned around, and it was there. Not the boy, the creature. Before Mark could scream, it lunged. Darkness swallowed everything. If you were standing on that dark, endless road and saw something inhuman staring you down in the rain, would you run? Would you fight? Or would you just freeze and pray it's only a nightmare? Type your answer in the comments below. The creature lunged. Rain, darkness, silence. Everything vanished. No sound, no light, no pain, just emptiness. Mark collapsed, unconscious, falling hard to the wet ground. The next morning, Mark opened his eyes in his own bed. He smiled relief, washing over his face. Maybe it really was just a nightmare. But then his eyes landed on the table, and there it was, the same red shoulder bag the passenger boy carried. Mark's smile faded. All the fear came rushing back. He reached out with a shaking hand. He unzipped it but stopped halfway. His heart pounded. How did it get here? What could possibly be inside? Mark let go. He backed away. Suddenly the TV switched on by itself, The reporter's voice echoed through the quiet room.
Last night, a taxi driver named Mark was killed in a crash on the Old Forest Road between Leeds and Berwick-upon-Tweed. Police say there was no sign of any passenger. The cause remains a mystery.
He stared at the screen, frozen. Suddenly the lights in the room flickered and went out, but the TV stayed on. A strange feeling came over him. Slowly, without knowing why, Mark started to smile, but the smile didn't feel like his. Later that day, Mark found himself back at Leeds Station, just like the boy once did. A taxi pulled up. Mark leaned in. Berwick-upon-Tweed. 2 days. I'll pay double. The driver nodded. Mark got in. And as the taxi pulled away, he didn't look back. So next time you're out late, and you see someone waiting alone in the rain, shoulder heavy with a red bag, would you give them a ride? Or would you look away? Because in stories like this, no one really knows who the passenger is, or who might become one next.